You're 22, washing a delivery truck in a warehouse parking lot in Houston at 5 a.m. 20 years later, the company you built sells for $1.85 billion. Between those two moments sits a refinery flare stack, a wind blade at 280 feet, a terracotta facade in Midtown, and a stack of paperwork most people never read. This is every level of rope access work in America and what it actually costs to climb. If you like breakdowns of how careers actually progress, like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Level 1. The trainee. You're standing in a warehouse in Houston, 30 feet of static rope hanging from a wooden tower, and the instructor is telling you your harness is on backwards. Tuition was sewn $1,500. The starter kit cost you another $1,800. You financed both. The harness is a Petzl VAO bod, dorsal D centered between the scapulae, fast lieutenant buckles double-backed. You don't know what any of those words mean yet. The descender in your right hand is a Petzl I'd S. The backup clip to your sternum is a Petzl SAP lock, and the rope is 11mm Sterling HTP static. The journeyman watches you thread the descender wrong twice. He fixes it without speaking. The third time you get it. Then he tells you to do it again blind. Day 2 is ascents and descents, 30 feet up, 30 feet down, until your forearms quit. Day 3 is knot passes, figure 8 above, cow's tail above the knot, lock the descender, transfer weight, swap below. 11 steps. You miss step 7 and the journeyman corrects you before you finish step 8. By Wednesday afternoon you've done it 40 times. You stop counting after that. The smell of new harness webbing is sharp, almost chemical. The galvanized step bolts leave white chalk on your gloves. At 30 feet up, suspended in the harness for the first time, you feel a mild and embarrassing nausea you didn't expect. Day 4, you rig a Y-hang, 2 CMC anchor straps, 2 triact lock carabiners per leg, a Petzl paw rigging plate. The angle between the legs stays at or under 90 degrees. The journeyman watches your backup device until it locks. Then he says it slowly. You don't go off rope until I see your backup locked. You'll repeat that line to a trainee of your own in 3 years. Day 5 is the evaluation. The examiner arrives in a separate truck and does not teach. He carries a clipboard. Written test first, then the practical donning, anchors, descents, knot passes, a pick-off rescue you've practiced 11 times. You pass on the first attempt. 3 guys in your class don't. Paid during training is whatever you had before. After the cert lands, you sign on with a regional shop in Houston at $22 an hour. Your first assignment is a refinery turnaround in Baton Rouge. You stop saving the pay stubs. You drive 9 hours the first weekend, sleep in a Best Western, and the foreman hands you AUT thickness gauge before he asks your name. Ready for Level 2? Level 2. The tech on the rope. The certification card in your wallet says SPRAT Level 1, and SPRAT requires 500 documented rope hours and 6 months at this level before you can sit Level 2. In turnaround season, you'll get the hours fast. In the off months, you won't. The TWIC card in your hip pocket cost $125.25 and took 6 weeks to clear. Without it, you don't enter the refinery gate. You wear FR cotton coveralls over a soaked t-shirt because the unit is steaming, and the wind off the flare carries the rotten egg edge of hydrogen sulfide. The Ventus MX4 4-gas monitor on your ventral D ticks at 5 parts per million. You don't take it off. The work is concrete. The foreman hands you the Olympus 38DL Plus with a 5 MHz transducer and a tube of cuplant gel and points to a flare stack 200 feet up. Calibrate against the test block. Climb. Find the marked locations on the steel. Press the probe. Read the number. Write it down. Move 18 inches. Repeat. The numbers go into a spreadsheet that goes into a corrosion report that decides whether the unit runs another 5 years. The journeyman is on the platform above you. He stops you at the lip and puts a hand on your dorsal D. Show me your backup. Locked. Now go. You go. In June, you're in West Texas on a wind farm. The blade is AGE 2.5 to 127, leading edge eroded. Cat 2. You scuff with 80 grit, mask with 3M 471 vinyl tape, mix the Scotch Weld DP 460NS epoxy on a paper plate balanced across your knee, and apply the W8751 protection tape from the center outward with a squeegee. The tip speed when this blade is running is 80 to 100 meters per second. The pitch makes the harness bite on the inside of your thigh. You drop a wrench. Not far, 3 feet to the catwalk inside the nacelle, but the tether wasn't engaged. The lead writes you up. ANSIISEA 121-2018, dropped object event, logged. You learn to clip the trigger too before you reach for any tool. Every time. Per diem ISO $110 a day on this contract. Base is $28 an hour. A 7 to 12 week, 7 days, 12-hour shifts clears about $4,000 gross before tax. You eat at the same Whataburger every night. You stop calling your mother back. Hotel room study sessions for the Level 2 written exam start in October. You read the OSHA letter from May 21, 2020 on your laptop. The one where Patrick Kapust tells Stefan Bright that industrial rope access is not rope descent systems. You don't fully follow it yet. The journeyman tells you it'll matter someday. You believe him because he's never been wrong about anything else. Level 3. The lead tech. Another 500 hours, another 6 months. You sit the SPRAT Level 2 evaluation in Tomball and pass on the first attempt. The pay jumps to $36 an hour. You start taking the NDT layers seriously. ASNT Level 2 and ultrasonic testing first, then magnetic particle, then visual. The Olympus Epoch 650 phased array flaw detector is heavier than it looks. You learn to balance it on a hip platform while suspended, calibrate against a known reference block, and walk a weld with the wedge sliding on the couplant. Senior welders watch you call indications. Some of them respect you. Most don't, until you find one they missed. Spring turnaround at a marathon refinery on the Gulf Coast. 4,000 contractors on site. You're rigging an internal vessel inspection, a 60-foot reactor, manway at the top, the work platform 40 feet below. Why hang off 2 certified pad eyes, deviation around an internal baffle, rebel A at the gantry beam. You build the anchor. The supervisor checks it, you go on rope. Halfway down, you feel the rope move wrong. Not a fall. A shift. You lock the descender, look up. The primary anchor strap has slipped. Not failed, but slipped a ½ inch on a structural lug you didn't read carefully enough. The backup anchor is holding. The ASAP lock on the safety line is locked. You are not falling. You are also not moving. You radio the supervisor. He talks you through the transfer. Long cow's tail above the figure 8, lock the descender, ascender on the safety line, transfer your weight. You re-anchor to a verified secondary. You ride down. On the platform, you check the lug. Galvanizing was hiding a section loss the original drawings didn't show. The supervisor pulls the JSA, rewrites the anchor plan, and the whole crew stands down for an hour while engineering signs off the new anchor. The supervisor doesn't yell. He says, "You read your backup, you stayed on rope, you called it. That's the job." Then he writes the incident up as a near miss, and your name goes on the corrective action list as the tech who caught it. Nobody got hurt because the backup worked the way it was supposed to. You start studying API 510, the exam fee ICE $875. You take it in a hotel ballroom in Houston, 150 questions, 4 hours, calculator with no memory function. You pass. The pay jumps to $42 an hour, plus per diem, plus the day rate on weekends. The journeyman who corrected your harness in Houston is now your peer. You see him on a Phillips 66 turnaround in October. He nods. You nod back. The 4 gas alarms in a process unit on day 47 of a 60-day TAR. 8 parts per million, H2S. Climbing. You evac the platform, regroup at the muster point, wait for the unit to clear. Then you go back up. The work doesn't wait. You start carrying the OSHA letter of interpretation in PDF on your phone. When a compliance officer challenges your 2-rope rig at a Valero unit, you cite the May 21, 2020 letter by paragraph and section. He reads it on his own phone, looks up, and tells you to keep working. The Skylatech Ignite Try-On harness for cold weather wind work is in your gear bag. Wyoming in February, -20 Fahrenheit. The cold burn of a triact lock gate on bare skin when you forget your liner gloves for 2 seconds. You don't forget twice. Ready for Level 4? Level 4. The Supervisor. Another 500 hours, another 6 months. The SPRAT Level 3 evaluation lasts a full day. The practical includes a pickoff rescue of an unconscious tech, 12 steps from approach to ground, performed under a stopwatch. You execute it in 11 minutes. The examiner doesn't speak. National average for SPRAT Level 3 runs about $46 an hour. On a turnaround as a 1099 contractor, the day rate ICE $800. You are now legally the competent person on site. You sign the job safety analysis. You sign the risk assessment and method statement. You sign the rescue plan. You don't sign anything you haven't read. The harness goes in the truck more than on your body. Mornings are the laptop, RAMs in the ISN portal, AVETA dashboard cleared, contractor management certs verified, the rescue litter staged. The Yates 152 spec pack is bolted to the platform at the hatch. The Skedco SK200 is rolled in the gear locker. You walk the rig before the crew goes on rope. You run a tower job for a wireless carrier, 800-foot guide monopole, L864 obstruction lights at the top, 2 of 3 burned out. The carrier wants them replaced before the FAA NOTAM expires. You file the NOTAM, call the Network Operations Center, confirm the airspace. Your 2 leads ascend on the LADSAF, then transition to rope at the 600-foot platform. The replacement takes 90 minutes. You watch from the access road, radio in hand, JSA on the clipboard. At 800 feet on a dead calm night, the L864 flashes red across your lead's face every 2 seconds. The radio is the only sound. You stop checking the clock. The crew on a local Law 11 facade in Midtown Manhattan reports a hairline crack on a terracotta cornice at the 17th floor. The QEWI engineer wants a closer look. You send a level 2 down on a Y-hang from the parapet. The crack runs 14 inches, and the tech finds spalling beneath it. You pull the crew, file a public safety notice the same afternoon, and call the building owner. 48 hours later, there's a sidewalk shed on West 47th. Nobody walks under loose terracotta on your watch. You hire. You fire. You sit through the OSHA Region 6 surprise audit at a Beaumont turnaround, and your paperwork is clean because you did it on Sunday night when the rest of the crew was at a barbecue. The compliance officer signs off in 40 minutes. A level 1 fresh from training drops a high-torque battery torque tool from 90 feet. The Squid's 3115 retractable was clipped to the wrong attachment point. No injury. The tool lands in a drip pan, but the dropped object incident is logged. You walk the kid through the corrective action, retrain the crew on tether selection, and update the JSA template the same week. You don't fire him. He becomes one of your best. Pay Clearstone $105,000 that year. You buy a used pickup with cash. You stop renting. The truck is white. You wash it on Saturday mornings in the driveway. Level 5. The Operations Manager. The regional shop in Tomball offers you the office. Salary plus bonus. Around $130,000 total comp. You take it. The harness comes off the truck rack and goes on a hook in the gear room. You bid turnarounds 90 days out. ISN status, AVETA status. EMR below 0.85. TRIR clean. You build the Manning chart on a whiteboard. 10 level 1s, 4 level 2s, 2 level 3s, deployed across 3 units of a marathon tar. Target gross margin 12%. You win the bid, then you defend it through scope creep, a cooling tower fill replacement the client once added, which wasn't priced. You walk the turnaround manager through the bid sheet line by line. The change order goes through at fair price. Nobody loses face. The IRATA WASA report drops in May. 279 reported incidents in 2024, 2 fatalities, more than 33 million working hours across 700+ member companies. You read it twice and circulate the relevant sections to your supervisors. Your shop hasn't had a recordable in 14 months. You don't say so out loud. You knock on the doorframe walking out of the office. The journeyman from your Houston training class, the one who corrected your harness on day 1, calls you in March. His shop closed. He needs a job. You hire him as a level 3 lead on the Galveston Bay TR at $50 an hour. He runs your toughest crew. He calls you boss the first day. By the second day, he's calling you by your first name again. You let him. You renegotiate the master service agreement with a Phillips 66 plant manager. 3-year, 4 refineries, exclusive rope access on all turnarounds. The contract is $14 million over the term. Your firm's revenue triples in 18 months. The regional VP asks you to take a second office in Lake Charles. You decline. You promote your senior level 3 instead. You attend the Acuren Acquisition announcement on May 21, 2024, not as a buyer or a seller, but as a competitor. The number ISO $0.85 billion. American Securities to Admiral Acquisition. You read the press release on your phone in the parking lot of an HEB and recognize half the names in the deal. You start asking yourself a different question. The 5 a.m. alarm doesn't wake you anymore. You wake before it. Level 6. The founder. You leave the regional shop after 7 years and start your own. 3 trucks, 6 level 3s, 2 of them poached from your old employer with their blessing. You name it after the road your father lived on. You sign the lease on a 4,000 square foot warehouse in Tomball. Year 1 revenue is $2.8 million. Year 3 is $11 million. You stack NDT cross certifications across the crew. Layer in API 510, 570, and 653 inspectors. Sign master service agreements with 2 refining majors and a wind operator running 1,200 turbines across the panhandle. Recurring revenue, not project by project. The metric that matters at exit isn't headcount. It's the contract length. A private equity associate from a New York firm calls you in year 5. You don't return the call for 3 weeks. He calls again. You take the meeting in a Houston steakhouse. He asks what you'd sell for. You don't have a number. He has 1, 8 times trailing earnings, founder rollover, 2-year earnout. You tell him you'll think about it. You think about it for 9 months. The number gets bigger. You hire a banker. The banker runs a process. 3 bidders. The clearing price, at close, is roughly 9 times trailing adjusted earnings, the same multiple Acuren cleared on the public deal. Your firm sells for a number that takes 3 lines to wire. The journeyman from Houston rolls equity with you. He's now a partner. The closing is at a Latham & Watkins conference room in downtown Houston. The S-4 was filed 3 months earlier. Your name appears on page 47. The framed photo on the wall of your old office, a 1990s rigging crew you never knew, in faded blue coveralls, comes home with you the day you sign. You hang it in the new office. The old crew is still on it. You don't retire. You stay on as president for the earnout. The PE firm doesn't change much in year 1. They change more in year 2. You see the playbook for what it is. You're 47, washing a pickup truck in a driveway in Tomball at 7 a.m. on a Saturday. The truck is one of 40. The other 39 are at a warehouse on Spring Cypress Road. The warehouse has your father's road on the sign out front. There's a glass case in the lobby with a pair of bent Klein 1005 cable cutters in it, bent on a refinery flange in Baton Rouge, never replaced. There's a Petzl I'd S in your desk drawer. Your SPRAT Level 1 card from your first job. Expired, also in the drawer. The framed photo of the rigging crew from 1992 hangs above the case in the lobby. You added a small brass plate beneath it. The plate doesn't say their names. It just says the line is yours. The journeyman from Houston runs operations from the office that used to be yours. He answers to no one. The level 1 who dropped the high-torque tool in Beaumont is now a level 3 supervisor on the Galveston Bay Master Service Agreement. He calls you on Father's Day. He tells you about a near miss his crew caught last week. You listen. You miss 3 weddings. A friend's, your sister's, across the years on rope. You wear bifocals now. The knee you blew on a wind blade in Wyoming in 2019 wakes you in February. The 90-day marathon turnaround bid sheet is on your desk Monday morning. You'll work it before lunch. Up on a flare 200 feet over a Phillips 66 unit, a journeyman with gray hair and a Petzl I'd S on his hip is about to send a new level 1 down the line for the first time. He says, "Show me your backup." Locked. Now go. The line is yours. You stole it. He'll steal it too. The 5 a.m. alarm doesn't wake you anymore. You wake before it. The truck is already yours.